Hello, hello, how's it going? I hope you're doing well, that you've had an amazing day today. Thank you so much for giving me some of your time to check out Single Ladies and my man Matt Project Pan update. It has been an amazing couple of weeks, full of progress. It's been kind of, I haven't had a lot of time to film because life has been busy, but having a really busy schedule has made it incredibly useful. And panning eyeshadow because I've stuck consistently with a look and I've really just been able to finish out some makeup. I've got that motivation now, and so I want to keep that momentum going. And so let's go on and get started with, let's start off with the Single Ladies first, because I was able to finish a couple things. We'll go into the Subculture palette, and then I'll talk about kind of how I'm going to move forward, because like I said, I'm really motivated right now to make some major changes and finishing off some makeup in my collection. So in terms of this little Z palette going here, this is satisfying. We've got several empty pans. The first thing I was able to finish was just a basic warm brown. It was a shade from the Lorac. I can't remember if it was the Mega Pro 2 or the Mega Pro 4. I mean, we're talking like a really easy basic warm brown, something like MAC soft brown, like nothing really interesting about it, just one of those like useful shades that you can use in your crease, but it feels amazing to be done with it. So woohoo! And then the next shade I was able to finish was, this was a major one, Coconut Cream from my Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar palette. Oh my word, that took a long time. Super satisfying when I finished it. I loved wearing it as a highlight in my inner corner to just give a really soft glow. I would use it on my brow bone, and I would also use it as a face highlight. It was a beautiful shadow, and I have since decided to go through and maybe pan out some other cream shadows in my collection, because I've really fallen in love with this subtle effect. It's very sophisticated, very pretty, very soft, and it's not too harsh looking. And especially since it's so humid outside, I really prefer my makeup to not look super illuminated, super glowy, super shimmery, because otherwise it can make me look really sweaty along with all this heat going on outside. So nice tip to kind of share for your summer eye looks. And so I've really made a ton of progress, moved those out. I've made a lot of progress in chocolate dipped over here. This came out of my Too Faced Peachy Mattes palette. I use this in my brows when I want an easy brow powder. I also use it to stamp into my outer corner of my eye. If I want a brown liner, I will set it on top of an espresso liner. It's just, I love espresso shadows, and this has definitely been another formula that I've really enjoyed. It can be kind of dry, it can be a little powdery, be a little bit powdery, but overall I really do love the application of this particular shadow. The other one that I have been really impressed by is this Black Licorice shade down here. This came out of the Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar as well. I figured, why not? Let's go for a couple shades. See what I can finish out of there. I initially had the first like top layer or two flake off of the shadow because it is kind of old, but once I started working in on the rich creamy like pigmented shadow underneath, it was really easy to hit pan, and I had like just the most saturated black lash line that it was fantastic. So now we're getting into the troublesome part of like trying to work around the pan that I've already made, but still it is a really lovely shadow. And then kind of going into the, well, I guess we'll talk about it. Kind of going into the Anastasia Subculture palette. Let me show you where I was last month, and then we'll talk about where the palette is currently, because it kind of segues into what's going on with the rest of the eyeshadow here. All right, here we go. I know it's a lot of change in a good way. In terms of what I've been able to finish, I believe when I came on here last time, all I had finished was Cube, Dawn. I was down to the last little bits of Fudge. I loved Fudge. That was a really fun shade to wear in my crease. I have since brought in, kind of going back to the Z palette over here, I've brought in the shade Peach Tart from the Too Faced Peachy Mattes palette. It's pretty much the same color as Fudge from Anastasia, not quite as pigmented. It's a little bit cooler toned, but overall it's pretty close. And so I feel like I've achieved a similar effect. The swatching on the shadow is not as great as the application, but it is a really, really nice comparison if you're looking for something in your collection or you want a shadow that's a little bit less powdery than Fudge's from the Subculture palette. But I've really, really enjoyed that combo. The other shadow that I wasn't expecting to love as much as I do now is the shade Adorn, this bronze shade up here. When I first started using it, I'm not gonna lie, I did not like it. I thought it was crumbly, I thought it was a hot mess. I wasn't really fond of applying it with a brush, with a sponge tip applicator. It was just kind of crumbling everywhere. I tried foiling it. I liked it sometimes, but then it could look really like crepey and make your, you know, my eyelids look really like just gross and like, I don't even know, like you could flake it off. That's gonna sound so weird, but I finally have gotten to a point in the last couple of weeks of wearing it. Maybe my skin was just going through a weird transition with the weather changes and everything, but now I really do enjoy the shadow. I enjoy it most applying it with a sponge tip applicator. Again, like that's been the theme of eyeshadow with my lids lately, has been the sponge tip applicator, but there has been something really weird. Like when I've applied super metallic shadows, I don't know, it's just something about my lids lately. Like if it's even more than just the teeniest little bit, it can be like overkill where it's super crepiness, and maybe I just need to up my moisture hydration on in my eye cream or something. But it's just been really weird. I don't know, my skin's going through a transition phase, I guess. So I've made a ton of progress in Adorn, and in fact this is the shade I expect to finish next because I've tossed it in into the Fun in the Sun project pan. I'll go on and link that intro video in the card above, because I've really been loving this bronze vibe that I've got going on, including this red lip. And so one of the things that I've really appreciated about Adorn is it is one of those shades that is beautiful with any lip color you could possibly want to wear. It fades throughout the day, which is one con of it, but it really works well if you love to wear reds, if you love to wear plums, if you love to wear nudes, if you love to wear just dark burgundies. I mean, it's the most versatile shade. I've worn it a long time, and honestly, it made me fall back in love with wearing neutral looks, because I got so into wearing colorful eyeshadow last year that when I first did this bronze look, I was like, oh my word, it's such a snooze fest. This is boring. And it took me a good, I would say 10, 12 times of wearing it to really get in a groove and be like, you know what? It's not so bad. You know, we can wear neutral eyeshadow again. You know what I mean? So I don't know, just one of those weird things that I wasn't expecting to happen. But after a year of wearing colorful eyeshadow, that was different. So then kind of moving forward at where I am with the bottom row, you'll notice a lot of changes here. I hit kind of a brick wall with Roxy over here because I just wasn't seeing the progress. I'd worked on that shade steadily since January, and I mean, I'd hit pan, but it was like never moving forward. And so finally I got to the point that I don't like the Anastasia formula repressed on its own. It is a hot mess. I don't like it. But I have discovered if you mix it with a stiffer formula, like Too Faced, for example, I actually like the combination. And so what I was doing with Roxy before was I was pairing it or mixing it with the shade Love is Love from the Too Faced Clover palette. And so with what was left of Roxy, I was like, you know what? I want to just mix it in with the shadow and we'll see what happens. And it ended up working out. I mixed a tiny bit at first and with the Love is Love in a pan of my Lorac Pro 2 palette, which is the pan, that palette. I need to update you on that as well. And I would run it through my crease. And when I realized that I liked the mixed combination, I would finish off the teeny little bit that I had Franken shadowed in the pan, and then I would mix a little bit more and then mix a little bit more. And it was really motivating because I finally saw some progress over here in that shadow, but then I was still multitasking and, you know, seeing some progress in the Love is Love over here. And so let me show you what the combination looks like, because I've mixed the last little bit that I had of Roxy along with some Love is Love. And this is the color combination that I end up with. It's a beautiful coral shade. It's still intensely pigmented on the eyes. And so what I do is I run it through my crease just to warm up my eye look a little bit. It's gonna look a little bit more subtle on camera, but you can see it brings some warmth and some life into this bronze eye look. And then if I'm feeling like it, if I'm traveling, because I do go out of town quite frequently, if I don't want to carry my MAC blush with me, I will pop this on my cheeks as blush, and it's brilliant. It matches with red lipstick, it matches with a nude lipstick that I love, it matches with a brownish taupey lipstick that I've been gravitating towards lately. It's just fantastic. So I wish that I would have filmed mixing those together, because the ratio that I put of Roxy was a little bit more than I would have put in of the Love is Love. I just kind of eyeball it to make sure that it's not too bubblegum pink, but make sure that it's not too orange, and it's just perfection every time. And so I've really enjoyed that. So just kind of food for thought. If you're really feeling like you're struggling with the shadow, but at the same time you want to kind of shake things up a little bit, because I mean, I've been wearing the combination of mixing back and forth for months, and I just decided, why are we doing this? And I also needed some motivation to use my Lorac Pro 2, let's be honest, because I've kind of hit a wall with that one. And then the other thing that I was kind of doing with my warm brown shade, because I've stuck with this look after I finished the Lorac shade, I pulled out the Salted Caramel shade from the Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar palette, but I wasn't expecting it to be quite as orange as it comes off. I don't know, I guess I had different expectations, because generally when I hear people talking about the Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar palette, this tends to be the #1 favorite shade. And so I was like, all right, warm brown, easy, done. But when I applied it on my eyes, I don't know if it just oxidizes awkwardly on me or what, but it was like orange. And so the way that I've kind of been using it for the past couple of weeks is I've mixed it in with a just a touch of New Wave and Edge. So, I mean, the progress is going to be minimal on these two shades, but it's something. I mean, I just tap it once into Salted Caramel, once here, once more into Salted Caramel, and apply it to my crease area. And that's kind of toned down the oranginess just a smidge. And then I can go through with the Too Faced brown shade, the Peach Tart, in my crease. And then it just does a nice seamless blend all together. But that's something interesting. I'm curious if you're experiencing that as well, if you have the Too Faced, Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar. So kind of on that thought, I haven't tried this combo today, but I didn't have very much of Nectar left from my Lorac Pro 2, so I wanted to see if I could tone down the oranginess just a little bit more by mixing it in with Nectar. We'll see. I don't know. It's coming off pretty skin tone. It may be too close to my skin tone, honestly, because Nectar I'm not getting a lot of payoff anymore because it's so old, but I went through and I mixed Nectar with some of Salted Caramel, and I'm going to let you know how that kind of goes, trying this combo out in my crease just to see, because I'm really needing some motivation to go after what's left in my Lorac Pro 2 palette. I'll talk about that with Pan That Palette, but like I said, it's just been, I've needed a little bit of incentive. It's been kind of a weird year in Pan That Palette for me. And I'm going to actually, if you're interested, I'm going to have a video coming up talking about where I am with project panning, what I've learned, lessons that I'm really taking away from it, because I know I'm not alone in this. A lot of us have been project panning for years, and I think we can all agree that not a year goes by that we don't learn something, whether it's a lesson that we've learned before that's reinforced again, or it's learning something new along the way. But if you're interested, that video is coming where I'll kind of share where I am in my project pan journey and how I continue to evolve it to work for me so that I stay motivated to keep shopping my stash and using more makeup out of my collection. So moving forward, in terms of single ladies, the first single lady that I'm going to be phasing in with intent to finish is going to be this single of Wet n Wild's Brulee. I've already started on it. I'm getting a very similar payoff to Coconut Cream. It's not quite as yellowy base toned as Coconut Cream, but I really, really love this as a highlighting shade. It has a beautiful glow. I have it layered on top of the NYX Jumbo Eyeshadow Pencil in Milk in my inner corner, as well as my brow bone. And I also go through and I use this as a gentle face highlight. Since it is so hot and muggy outside, I don't really go for super shimmery highlights because they make me look very greasy and oily, and so I'm not all about that right now. I tend to prefer more shimmery highlights when it's cooler outside. I know it's kind of like opposite thinking of what we tend to see, but I prefer a more matte finish to my face when it's super hot outside, because otherwise it can look really gross and enlarged pores and all that. And so this has been really great as a face highlight to just keep everything subtle and nice and fresh looking. I love it. It's a great, great shadow. I'm also going to be running in these two shades down here, the Roxy Love is Love combo, and then the Nectar and Salted Caramel combo. I would like to finish these in the next month, because there's not a whole lot in either pan, because I just mix a small amount at a time. So let's see if I can knock those out and officially finish Roxy out of the Single Ladies and My Man matte, because let me tell you, I've been working on that shadow since January. It is high time now that we're approaching the end of July before we know it. And then I'm going to continue rolling in the Black Licorice shade from the Too Faced Semi Sweet Chocolate Bar palette, also the Espresso Brown, and let's see if we can hit pan in the Peach Tart shade. I don't know, probably won't hit pan, but I know that I can expand that dip. And then I'm kind of thinking about, I don't know, I'm kind of thinking about making a video of just showing you the palettes that I have finished, because I'm kind of ready to let the packaging go, and I'm debating about whether or not I should keep the empty pans and like throw them back into the Adept Cosmetics palettes with the palettes they go with, or if I should go on and just chuck them. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you think I should do, because like I said, I'm kind of in a weird headspace with my Pan That palettes and things like that, and I'm kind of ready to let things go, but at the same time it's like, do I really want to? I don't know, sidebar. So in any case, that about wraps it up for right now, just in terms of where I am. Like I said, I'm feeling good, working on finishing makeup. I'm loving this makeup combo that I've been wearing lately, so I'm panning it for the Fun in the Sun project pan. I have the Get Ready With Me coming for this look very soon, and now that I have a chance to sit down and film again, life isn't quite as crazy for right now, and so that is coming. This look is really, really versatile if you want to pair it in with other options, but I'm really just loving the red lip. And then if you're interested, because I get lots of comments on these, I got these off of Etsy. I'll try to put a link in the description box below if you're interested, because if you wear like teals and navies and browns, earrings like this and a red lip are just awesome stuff. So once again, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being patient with me. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and I very much look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, take care.